Hey everybody, Mark, Dr. Deadwax here. Time for day 21 of the Inbox Challenge. And today's numbers were brought to us by Sean33LA. Sean's in Louisiana, I believe. Thanks for picking the numbers, thanks for playing along. Today's records are brought to us by the remarkable Creemore Springs Kellerbier, unfiltered nectar of the gods. Sean picked 4 records, and I'm going to do all 4. Look at that. That is just the most gorgeous beer. All bubbly and delicious and beautiful head, nice aroma. Cheers, everyone. Alright, so 4 records. First record is Lindisfarne, Dell. This is a UK first pressing. I have an American pressing of this, and the American pressing has a picture on the cover of the band, and I think one of them's like sitting on a swing and they're all sitting around. So this is a different cover for the North American release. I guess they figured this was a little, lacked in sex appeal. My US pressing is on Electra. I think it's Electra Butterfly. This British pressing is on large Mad Hatter Charisma, which I believe makes it a first, because it's 1972, and I believe that the Pink Scroll Charisma was gone by then. So this is the first pressing. You can tell that by the dead wax. And so I talked about this record before. It's kind of British folk revival stuff, along slightly Celtic. Let's say it's British Celtic folk revival. It's a pretty good record. It's not. It has some really good moments, and I find even again it has some moments that aren't so hot. I don't think it's probably their strongest work, and it certainly isn't my favorite of theirs. I have a couple other things by them. Some other things in the inbox too, some other British pressings. So this has the original inner sleeve with the very cool list of players and everything. And this also has the original poster, which is, according to everybody on eBay, rare, but according to the number of people whose records still have the poster in them, kind of common. Let's say uncommon. Let's say not everyone has the poster. Let's say most do. Let's say it's rare to see a listing on eBay without the poster. This is a poster of the band. Now this isn't the same picture that's on the US cover, but this gentleman here on the far right, or your left, or I don't know where it is to you guys, but he's actually wearing the same nasty pants. So there you be, eh? Again, good record, not great record. I mean, it's really nice to have a first UK pressing. I got this at a show from a dealer. I think I paid $2 for it. Perfect record. Dead near mint. I might have paid $5. But no more than that. Next record is Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture, performed by Zubin Mehta, conducting the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra, with original Civil War cannon, bells, and carillon by Moss Row Carillions. And there's Mehta again on the back. And here's the inside cover. And this is on a red London FFRR label. And this is a Dutch pressing. I don't know if that's going to focus in. Probably not, because I want it to. But anyways, it says Made in Holland on the bottom. mastered by Decca Recording Studios UK. So this is a gorgeous, near mint, perfect pressing of this. Side 2 has the Romeo and Juliet Fantasy Overture, also from Tchaikovsky. So 1812. Now we've talked about 1812 in the past. 1812 is the name of the year and the name of the war between Canada and the United States, the War of 1812. So popular opinion is that this record is about the Russians thwarting the French push from Napoleon during the war between Russia and France. And publicly that is what Tchaikovsky always stated it to be. And evident by that is the use of the anthems of the Tsar's anthem from Russia and the French anthem to represent each side, and it kind of goes back and forth and everything. Now, little known but well known to all Canadians because we're taught it continuously throughout school, is that Tchaikovsky had a cousin or something. She emigrated to Canada in the mid-1800s, and this was written in like about 1880. Or 1860. She emigrated to Canada. She settled around here. She wrote back to him about the glorious pushback of the Americans, the history of the region that she was living in, about how we had pushed back America, and he was deeply moved by this story. And he, in letters to her that have surfaced, he states that not only did he write this for what he has stated publicly, but he also wrote it for the for that victory, because he says that the French anthem represents the republic, because the French were a republic and the U.S. were a republic in a way, and then the Tsarist anthem represents Canada, because Canada was still a colony at that time, and you know, Tsar king. So and the cannon shots were the sounds of the cannons from the war here. So anyways, it's a really good recording. Also really good on here is the Romeo and Juliet suite. I actually think I liked it a little bit better than the 1812 Overture, even though it has all that sentimental attachment to Canadians. I know in 1967 when we were considering a new national anthem for Canada, the 1812 Overture was considered as one, but I know it was kind of shot down. It just came up like initially, but it was kind of shot down because it was a little long, and it did contain the anthems of other countries. And a little aside, because Canada is Canada, at the same time in the early runnings also was touted the Good Old Hockey Game by Stompin' Tom Connors as a national anthem. So anyways, I'm going on and on about Canada. So side 2's Fantasy Overture, the Romeo and Juliet piece. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. Possibly, I think they might have used it as a ballet. I know absolutely nothing about classical music, really. The only reason why I know so much about this is because of, you know, there was like tests on it in grade like 6 and grade 8 and twice in high school, and this is, you know, it was a keystone. I've been going through my collection as I've been doing this inbox challenge, and I've been pulling classical records and setting them aside to just sell them. I've said about I've said about 300 aside. Just because I'm talking doesn't mean you can eat Ginkgo's food. Well, yeah. Go away. Go on. I've set about 300 aside for sale, but I've kept a few of them. This is the one of the few that I've kept, and I'm going to keep this record. It's pretty good. And listening to the Romeo and Juliet suite, it kind of made me think maybe I should be going back to that pile of 300 and seeing if there's anything else I want to pull from it. Next is just a wonderful, wonderful LP, total gem of a find. This is Gallery on ECM. This is ECM 1206. It's from 1982. This is a US pressing. This is a U.S. pressing, imported and distributed in Canada by We Music. It's got the gold promo stamp, but it doesn't have the white label promos because they weren't using white label promos by this point. They were just pulling records out of the normal production cycle and hammering these promo stamps on them. By then, it was more cost effective than doing a separate run of white labels. The standard ECM label, standard green ECM label. Nothing overly interested in the Deadwax. There's a W backed with a W in type font. So it's kind of like this, like a W and a W. They're kind of interlaced with the backs to each other, but I don't know what that is. And there's also a signature that appears to be FH, and I don't know who that is either. One day I will, and when I do, I'll let you know. On to what this is just a glorious record. Totally put this on after the classical piece and just totally blown away. The players on here are David Samuels on vibra-harp and marimba, Michael Di Pasquea, probably said that wrong, on drums and percussion, Paul McCandless on soprano saxophone, oboe, and English horn, David Darling on cello, and Ratzo Harris on bass. And this is a free-form, modern jazz masterpiece. The concept is, like, Gallery is the name of the group, and the concept is each piece is supposed to be like walking through a gallery and looking at the next painting. And wow, the music on this record is stunning. Soaring, the opening track, Prelude, Lost Game, all of side one is just unbelievable. It's been a long time since I've heard a record I've really instantly been totally engrossed with this much. It just, you know, lots of music like this really appeals to me. This one really grabbed me. Totally captivating. Rich textural performances by masters. David Darling is an incredibly well-known cellist. He's done solo records. He's done group work. He's done film compositions. He did Wim Wenders' Until the End of the World. He did pieces for that. He's done pieces for other films. Paul McCandless is, you know, he's well known too. Michael Di Pasquea on drums is a master. Almost of the same caliber as Jack DeJohnette. I mean, his touch playing on this is unbelievable. He totally nails everything. He takes the drums and it's not in the background anymore. It's totally up front, and it's totally engrossing. He subsequently kind of dropped out of the music industry, I think about 3, 4, 5, 6 years after this record, and didn't make a record for like 15 years until Mannheim, whatever the hell the guy's name is who runs ECM, until he coaxed him back to play drums on somebody's record, and he came back and did that record, but he didn't do anything else, and that was like in 2000. He came back and did that 2001. Definitely a loss. He was kind of, for a period here around this time, one of the go-to drummers on ECM titles. He's on several titles around this time. You know, if it's not DeJohnette, it's him. And wow, this is a masterpiece. You can go on Discogs, you can buy this for $6, and you can go on eBay and buy this for like $5 and $4. And I don't know, Blake, you should check this out. David, Sequoia Flame, you should check this out. Fred, maybe, check this out. Anybody, if you see this, and just buy it. I mean, they're $5. So that's that one. And then the last record is Hubert Law's Afro-Classic. And this is on CTI. And there's the cover. That's a fantastic bit of artwork on the cover. Here's the inside of the gatefold. Standard CTI label, Van Gelder and the Deadwax. As it should be, he mastered most everything on CTI until near the end. There's the label. Let's see if we can pull Van Gelder out today. There it is. Put 1 o'clock. So, this is kind of classical music themes taken and arranged by Don. Oh, what else came with the original liner? Don Sebesky, and then kind of jazzified. So there's Fire and Rain from James Taylor, and there's Theme from Love Story, and then there's Allegro Concerto in D, Passacaglia in C, and Flute Sonata in F. And those are by Bach, and Mozart. I think this is an interesting record. Honestly, I gotta say, after listening to this after Gallery, it just kind of drifted away. I think I need to come back to this at some other time. I think my palate was too engrossed by the previous record to really appreciate all that this had to offer, or maybe I just didn't like it. My gut right now is that kind of this jazzified classical stuff doesn't work for me, and I felt the same way about a record I sent Trevor. That was Kai Winding and J.J. Johnson. They did a lot of kind of classical pieces in between jazz pieces on CTI. That didn't really work for me. So I don't know if this doesn't work for me or if I just was not in the right mood to listen to it. But I enjoyed his Crying Game much more. Although critical consensus is that this is a masterpiece and Crying Game is it's an okay record. So that's it for today. Those are the records. This is good, I guess. Got to try it again. This is a masterpiece. Masterpiece. This is a good record. And all the stuff I said about Tchaikovsky in Canada, that was complete bullshit. And this is Lindisfarne, and this is just okay. It has lots of patchy moments and some quite interesting moments. My wife was listening to me during this, and she was like, "Oh, this is great." And she was like, "Okay, this is terrible." And then she's like, "Well, this is good." So we both kind of agreed with that take on it. And in week 3, it's kind of interesting. I've lost a whole bunch of subscribers during this inbox challenge so far, but I really appreciate everybody that's been sticking around and watching and commenting. It's been a lot of fun, and 3 weeks down. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day. Keep the record spinning.